My name is Hameed, and I'm working as a case coordinator for housing and employment at Life Without Barriers. And I have started this role about 3 months ago. So I came to Australia about 11 years ago as a refugee. And as soon as I arrived in Australia, I have completed my higher education here. Then I started working with organizations supporting refugees and asylum seekers. And I went to the UN conference in Geneva to advocate for the rights of refugees when I was working with AIMS Australia. And afterwards that I have worked with the Department of Home Affairs as a decision maker in citizenship and visas. After that, I have joined the Life Without Barriers, where I am. Well, makes me internally happy to work for refugees and asylum seekers. I have lived experience that how refugees and asylum seekers are going through, what are the challenges and what are the settlement process, what supports they really need. These are the things that attracted me to be a part of this journey. When I came to Australia as a refugee, so I did not know anything about Australia, living in Australia and how I can achieve my goals. So the environment helped me, the organization such as Life Without Barriers, they are helped me to achieve my personal and professional goals in Australia. That's why I use my lived experience to support other refugees and asylum seekers who are new in Australia. Even before I came to the Life Without Barriers, I was working with another organization supporting refugees and asylum seekers, especially in their settlement journey. For example, providing them with orientation sessions about health, education, law, and other things in Australia. But when I started working with the Life Without Barriers, I'm supporting refugees with housing and employment, which is one of the most challenging areas for refugees who are newly arrived in Australia. So refugee can be a person who are fled their countries and they have a well-founded fear of persecution in their own country and they are seeking international protection, for example, in Australia, according to Geneva Convention. And asylum seeker is also the person who fled their countries, but their immigration status is not clear yet. This is the process, for example, when a person is seeking asylum. So they are not refugee yet, but once their status are clear, they become a refugee. One of the things that I really want the public to know about the rights of refugees in Australia. And the other thing is what are the contribution of refugees in Australian community. For example, we know so many refugees and asylum seekers, they have contributed very positively to their communities. For example, they have their own businesses and they have employed Australians. And the other thing is that they are working with other refugees and asylum seekers to help them or to assist them to get reintegrated in their new community. For example, a few years ago when I came to Australia, it was very difficult to know who is working for refugees and supporting asylum seekers. But now there are so many organizations are working with refugees and asylum seekers. For example, the Life Without Barriers, we are working very closely with those who their immigration status is not clear yet, or they have a temporary visas, because one of the challenges for refugees and asylum seekers are lack of certainty. They are uncertain and they cannot make a decision for their futures. Life Without Barrier is helping clients to make a wise decision for their future and to be hopeful. And the Life Without Barrier is helping refugees and asylum seekers to find a sense of belonging. This is the main thing and the main challenge that the asylum seekers and refugees are facing. This is a nice theme for refugees and asylum seekers because we, as refugees, we fled our countries to achieve our freedom, because all refugees actually in their own countries, they fled their countries because of the lack of freedom. And in Australia, absolutely, they found that freedom. Once you have freedom, so you can achieve your goals. Without freedom, you cannot do anything. So what attracted me to work with the Life Without Barriers, because I feel it gives me a sense of belonging, because I came to Australia as a refugee and asylum seeker and I have went through all this process and I found the Life Without Barriers the right place to work for. Yeah, absolutely, because working in organizations such as Life Without Barriers, it's all about how your personal values are matching your organizational values. These are the things that makes this place the right place to work in. This is a challenging role. It's not an easy job to work with asylum seekers and refugees, but this is a positive challenge that will bring some opportunities for refugees and asylum seekers, which you feel good about it.